if possible, say I do a 2-hour stream, if there's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in that stream where I don't break a guideline, or I don't think I do, I can put it up there and then put the Odysee link, and then people can come over here. Now, the opening song I put up had J. Cole in it, and I really like J. Cole. But I really like what he says in that song specifically. How many faking their streams a lot, getting their plays from machines. I can see behind the smoke and mirrors. People ain't really big as they seem. I never say anything. Everybody's got their thing. Some people make millions. Some people make memes. I just thought that was a great fucking line for what we see nowadays with the fake algo pushes and all of this stuff. It just, made a lot of sense to me. Now, I've already been on Twitter and said to this guy, you're not a historian. Like, you might be in some other field, but you're not a January 6th historian. Because all you gave was official story bullshit. And at one point he actually says, well, if the FBI wasn't there, Governor Whitmer would have got kidnapped. When it's documented that they were the ones that made the plot to fake the kidnapping. Now, this guy's name is Jeremy, and it's like spelled gay. Jeremy Surrey. So let's get a look at this guy. Let's see what he's a historian in. Gotta do your research. Historian. Just a historian. He's a professor, an American historian. Okay. My recent discussion with Lex, he is clearly one of the best interviews with 3 million followers to prove it. It's like, yeah, but you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything that... it annoys me. So you can't see the title. Historian on January 6th. It's a big fucking deal, is what it's called. So I guess he's just historian. And he talked about like the KKK and some other stuff. Now, when I was on Twitter, I was just like, yo, I think I'm more of a historian than you. On this topic, like, I would say, like, I would get, like, I'm a doctor, detective, all these different things. I think I can call myself an historian now on certain topics. This one specifically. More than him. So, we'll have to, I'm going to have to do that. I found so many old videos, and I put some up on YouTube, and I put some up on Odysee. If you guys didn't see, I put an old Vox video up, and since there's new anti-Semitism laws coming, I put my 2018 stream that I did with Adam Green, where we talked about this is going to get really bad with anti-Semitism laws, and I mean, look where we are. Remember when Fata Kings made this? The old Doom intro? I forget about him, how many intros I actually had. But yeah, actually, I'm not a debate guy, obviously. I think debating's gay as hell. But... if you're going to call yourself a historian, then, I'm going to have to call you on that. So we'll get right down to business. We'll get right to the video. But I do want to show you that I did tweet at him. So there's me. I'm a historian now. I don't even follow him. Political junkie. Host of a podcast. This is democracy. We're not even a democracy, you stupid dumbass, man. Dumbass. So I said, you're either misleading people on purpose or dumb. You're not a J6 historian. You're pushing bullshit. I don't have 3 mil subs, but I won't loft softballs like Lex and would wreck you in a debate on the topic anytime. Joyala said, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd put the estate on Crocko. We gotta talk about this later. Titus Frost posted this. Alex Stein, endorsing DeSantis, obviously the pro-Israel guy. And then, he's gonna be president one day. A lot of stuff to talk about later, but this is strictly about this 11-minute clip. Hi, Fed Up. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Saturn. Good to see everybody. Now, when I say I just got in from work, I mean I got in, washed my face, Puerto Rican shower style, put a hat on, and came to stream. I woke up at 4. I am fucking exhausted. So as soon as I'm done with this, I don't even know how I have the energy right now. Usually when I sit down right after work, I get tired, but we got to do this. But as soon as I'm done, I'm laying my ass down. Oh, no, I'm going to eat, then lay my ass down. So it says Friedman doesn't debate. Oh, no. Friedman just had him on to softball up some questions for him. Let's go.
Can you make the case that the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol is a big deal? And can you make the case that it is not a big deal?
I think the case is overwhelming that it was a big deal. And I opened the book with this before going back to the end of the Civil War because I think it echoes that moment.
Okay, number 1, he's already compared a small portion of people that were misled, and also a lot of groups that had agents, informants, CIs, and a lot of operatives around in a condensed space, literally to the Civil War. So I don't care if you call yourself an historian. If you say something like that, you're fucking dumb.
You had a group of people who literally tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power and were intending, and there's overwhelming evidence of this, if they had caught the vice president or the Speaker of the House.
Okay, you can't catch the vice president. You can't catch the Speaker of the House. We don't even know where Kamala was, remember? Because they had to tell us she was here because the bombs were over there. You guys remember all this, right? They can't keep their story straight on any of this stuff.
To do bodily harm to them or to kidnap them.
Oh, he believes the Whitmer kidnapping is organic. Oh, is it freezing up or something? That's alright. Watch this.
So this was a coup d'etat. That is the definition of a coup d'etat, when you try to capture and prevent elected officials from doing their job. That's a huge deal. That had happened before in our country in states. I talk about this in Louisiana, in Tennessee, and places like that after the Civil War, but it never happened in the Capitol. That's a huge deal. That is, if I might say, that's like what we would think of as third world behavior in our society. And no offense to those from other parts of the world. I'm just trying to make a point as how we see that as happening somewhere else, not here. That's a big fucking deal. The case that is not a big deal, I guess the case to make there is that they didn't succeed. The case that is not a big deal is not that their intentions were not bad. I don't see how you...
They didn't succeed because it was already predetermined what was going to happen. Yes, there was maybe a few hundred retards there that actually think like rigging in the sense of actual votes, like you go and vote and your vote counts and it goes somewhere and it's sitting in a stack of other votes, and then someone gets all those quote unquote conservative votes and puts them in an 18 wheeler in the middle of the night and drives them somewhere, and then they bury them and burn them, and then they get dead people to vote for the other guy. All this convoluted stuff that would leave a paper trail and be dumb, when they could just not count them and have a predetermined outcome. So it's still rigged, but why would they go through all the trouble of doing all that other stuff?
You can defend their intentions. The case is the case that's not a big deal is that they're a bunch of clowns, and yeah, they broke in, but in the end, once they got in there, they didn't know what to do, which is
Oh, they broke it. Okay, cuz from what I remember was they couldn't get in, but the people, the DC police, the state police, district police, you know, it's its own country within a country, um, and Capitol officers unlocked the door for them. Actually got the head nod, like, hey, the door's not unlocked, and then they unlocked it. So they didn't break in.
true. And
I'll go all fucking day with this guy. If this guy actually had the balls and was like, oh, well, I can't go on shows that don't have 1 million subs. If he was like a legitimate historian and I'm just some dumb idiot, you know, on the internet that doesn't know anything, he should be able to wipe the floor with me. Now, I'm going to be bringing all this evidence. Like, I just came home from work, so I'm not going to pull up each clip. Like, you guys should know with my coverage of J6, you've seen the clips before of them letting them in.
And so, you know, I think a professional coup plotter would say these were the amateurs and that they had no real chance of succeeding because once they got into the Capitol, they had no plan what to do next. What were they going to do? You know, steal stapler from Nancy Pelosi's office? They didn't seem to have a plan, and then what ended up happening, they left the building.
Well, that would be the case. That's not a big deal because
Yeah, wait a second. You just said that they had, you know, this well-organized plot to overthrow the government and what you call democracy, which we never were. We've always been a constitutional republic, and we turned into a kind of fascistic technocracy now. But then you just said they didn't really have a plan. So which one is it? Because it's only been 2 minutes and you've already, you know, kind of flip-flopped on your stance there. What's up, Boomer? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Birdman? What's up, White Heat?
because their intention was not to overthrow. Their intention was to protest. Because if the intention was to overthrow, it would be much more organized.
I think the evidence is pretty overwhelming that they intended to stop. They were there to.
Okay, so if they intended to overthrow, why didn't they have arms? Like, why wasn't there like 100 to 200 people with actual weaponry? Because you're in Washington, D.C., so you're going to face security and, you know, anybody can get called in at that point. National Guard, military. So if they really wanted to overthrow, why wasn't there any weapons?
To stop the certification of the election. They were there to prevent Donald Trump from having to leave office. They just didn't have a good plan. This was the keystone.
It doesn't matter. It was already predetermined that Biden was going to be the president. No matter what happened that day, it wasn't going to change it. That's why they had to have so many plants and informants and groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the Three Percenters. And they had to have people even like Crowder and people like, normal milquetoast conservatives pushing this. And they had to have the more alt media, Nick Fuentes, Ali Alexander. They had to have everybody in on this saying that we need to do this. Stop the steal. It's all bullshit.
Cops.
So you're saying there is some statistically some possibility that this would have succeeded at halting the basic process of democracy.
You could imagine a scenario where it might have, if they had gotten lucky. Sure, if they had caught the vice president.
But what could have?
Again, the only kidnapping plot that's came out in the last 2 years was a plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer of Michigan, right? And we now know that there was more FBI informants and agents in the group compared to average people. And the FBI agents provided the money, the funding, the quote-unquote tools they would need, the date, the plan, the structure, and then they just had a couple patsies that they would hope would go down. They got exposed, they got caught, everybody now knows, it's documented, but this guy thinks someone can kidnap Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is MIA on January 6th because they messed their timeline up with the planted bombs from the night before, and they told everybody Kamala walked right by one, and then they thought in their heads, oh, that doesn't sound good, because it's the vice president, we would have did triple sweeps for bombs, so she couldn't have walked by it.
If they caught the vice president,
They couldn't go on and certify then. He has to be there.
but don't you think that would resolve itself through police action and so on? My question is how much is this individual hooligans, and how much of this is a gigantic movement that's challenging the very fabric of our
false dialectic question, false paradigm question. At no point did he mention insiders, government agents, government informants, CIs.
Well, it's not a gigantic movement, but it was a small coup d'etat that could have actually made the transition much more difficult. Was there a scenario where Donald Trump stayed in office legitimately? No. But was there a scenario where they created a great deal of chaos that further undermined our democracy? Absolutely, yes. Here's how it would happen, right? They capture Pence, right? They either kidnap him and try to ransom him, or which is what they were trying to do with the Michigan governor, Governor Whitmer, or they kill him, and then.
No, that's not what they were trying to do. That was the feds trying to make it look like that's what they were trying to do. If you're an actual historian and you're this well-researched guy, like, this isn't a conspiracy theory that I'm making it up. Like, this is mainstream media, court case, documents. Like, this has been proven. I don't know how he can come out with a straight face and say that that's what they were trying to do with Governor Whitmer.
And Donald Trump says, okay, well, there's no vice president, so you can't certify. The Senate would choose someone else to be vice president, but Donald Trump says no.
Okay, so with no evidence, because you already said that they didn't have a plan. Well, first you said they were very organized, then they didn't have a plan. They were going to kidnap the vice president and kill her? And then they wouldn't certify the election? That's what you're saying? Wow. Enlightening. Now, Lex has this guy on the show because he's pushing bullshit, but, I mean, are you guys, do you guys understand this? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, how fucking dumb this is? Like, this is really bad. It's intentional. I can't think he actually believes this. Now, I know he wrote a book, of course.
No, that's not legitimate.
Do you think it's possible Donald Trump would say something like that?
Absolutely.
I disagree with you.
He said that morning that Pence should not certify. He said that morning.
But there's a difference between sort of Twitter rhetoric.
No, he said it at a rally.
Sure, rally rhetoric, and there is a threshold. It feels like a big leap.
Even Lex, who, you know, unless if it's Kanye who brings up, you know, something about Jewish people, doesn't really interrupt people. Even he's like, dude, I don't know, man. Look just kind of like a group of retards that didn't know what they were doing, and the informants and feds trying to keep everything in line to make it look good.
He asked people around him in the Oval Office how he could make that happen. He tried to get a new person appointed attorney general who would do that. He tried to find legal justification for it. I think the evidence is overwhelming that Trump was supportive of efforts after the election didn't go the way he wanted to keep him in office. And whether that's legally actionable and whether one thinks that means he's a bad president or not is a matter of opinion.
Mhm.
But facts are facts.
Yeah, well, I just wonder if it's possible for him to have stayed president in this kind of context. To
No.
me, it seems like a heated, just like you said, elections can even be violent. They're heated. People are very upset. When Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The amount of anger, I was just get the energy I was getting from people. I mean, if there was any way to channel that anger, I think people would be in trouble.
But let's
There's anger.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that is right. And elections are violent, as I said. But this is different. This is the person in the office of the presidency using the power of the presidency to try to stay in office, to imperil people's lives, to distort our government on a scale we had not seen before. And these are not opinions of mine. We have the documentary evidence. We have the testimony from people about this. We can differ over what you think of his presidency as a whole. We can differ over whether you think he should be held legally responsible. Those are matters of opinion. But the facts are he sat on January 6th, watched it on TV, did not send ever did he ever send any protection for Congress. That is his job. And throughout continued to ask how the certification could be prevented.
To you, that's not incompetence, that's malevolence.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, this is a TDS kind of guy. You know, he's suffering right now. Give me 1 second. Pulling a couple of things up here. I don't need to. I mean, I have all this stuff stored in my head. Can I just X that out? What's going on here? I'll refresh this. Votes do not matter. That is very correct. Maybe I gotta take dark mode off because it's not showing up. It's not even that big of a deal. I don't want to really read this, but it's just weird that it's not showing the rating. No biggie. DOJ just changed the official name of its J6 investigation from Capitol breach to Capitol siege. The new stunt, just like January 6th itself, is an orchestrated effort by the way Democrats and Capitol Police to demonize foes of Biden regime and silence criminal dissent. Yeah, and look who goes to jail and look who doesn't go to jail. And you see the ones that are... how do you put it? The ones that complied and informed, like a Baked Alaska type, isn't going to jail. I was actually looking for that video, but I can't find it right now, where the guy literally does the whole breakdown of January 6th. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Now, I've done these before too, and I don't want to show the whole video because it's not about that. But I can't believe that. I mean, this guy brought up the Whitmer trial. Like, he brought up the Whitmer thing as real, and then he used that to say, "Oh man, they could have took Kamala Harris." Kamala Harris, no one even knows where she was. They have to lie about her whereabouts because it fucks up the fake bombs that were planted. I mean, this guy's really bad. Jeremy Surrey is his name. American historian. Whitmer trial underway, and boy is it already good. Defense and government arguing before a judge about allowable evidence related to FBI entrapment. Text, photos, chats show FBI undercover directing, the criminals to conduct various activities not allowed per FBI. So, I mean, that's been debunked. Like, the fact that he would bring this up and call himself an historian, it's fucking gross. And yeah, the Whitmer thing was a kind of setup for what J6 would become. Because they got the FBI and their CIs all this practice. Does anyone know that video I'm talking about? It was on YouTube. No, I know 75% of Lex's guests are Jewish. It's a video like January 6th breakdown or something. Like, I just can't see them if I try to search it. That is actually like gonna show up, and I don't know if it's on YouTube or Bitchute or what. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, just put it in the chat. Because I did one where I did frame by frame and showed the timeline of it. But they're all, if I put in breakdown, they're just gonna show. Yeah, they're just gonna show official story ones. They're not gonna show the alternative one. This is the historian, by the way. I'll check Bitchute if nobody knows who made that video. It doesn't really matter. Like, my point's already been proven by this guy talking.
If I watch my children getting harmed and I don't do something about it, I'm watching it. And in fact, I take action that tries to help those who are doing the harm. You would not just say I'm an incompetent parent. You would say I was a negligent parent, and you'd call parental support to take away my children.
I was troubled by the way the press covered it, that they politicized the crap out of that. And not just the press, but also Congress itself. It just seemed like impeachment and all of this. It just seemed to be a kind of circus that wasn't interested in democracy or nonpartisanship. So it's very difficult for me to see this.
I hate this fucking Lex character that he does. Sometimes the SSRIs are really kicking in and he gets like that, but I'm surprised that the media tried to manipulate something. Really, that's still surprising to you? I'll actually check Bitchute for this video. I thought I had it saved. I've seen people play it. January 6th, breakdown, debunk. Because I've done like the Ashley Babbitt thing with the fake blood packets and all the shit. Wow, they don't even have a search result for it. Whatever. No, where we go one, where we go all shit. Don't need that. I'll probably find it like right after. But like the Capitol Police that were inside, like inside, didn't have, why can't I think of this? They didn't, the weapons they had were non-lethal. So I gotta put an insurrection because I don't even know how to spell that. It's not even important. I just want to, now I want to see this video. I'm sure somebody in the chat's seen it before. Ashley Babbitt was with just an I, right? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to check this out really quick. Ashley Babbitt. That was 2 years ago. I thought it was new. I'll give this one a try, but I remember breaking it down myself. So like that shot right there, that guy, when you actually zoom in, his gun has the marking on it. That's a non-lethal weapon, but they don't tell you that. The video I'm looking for has a guy narrating over it, where he's like, oh, and this guy's still doing nothing, and this guy's standing around, because you can tell they're all actors. It's pissing me off that I can't find it. Is that it, Rhino? Oh, you coming through for me, bro? That'd be sick. No, I don't want Lex Friedman. Whatever. I already debunked his case on it. This is just extra if I could have found it, but I can't. I know 75% of his guests are Jewish. I've seen the statistics. I've seen the research done. I've seen the videos. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll find this video some other time. I'm surprised no one's seen this and doesn't know what I'm talking about. January 6th. How can this not have any results? Maybe I should take the TH off of 6. Maybe that they don't understand. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here pretty soon because it's not letting me find anything. I'll give this one a shot. And I'll give this one a shot. This could be the one. 27 minutes sounded right. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Oh, this is on InfoWars? No.
I walked right up to where I ended up, the West Side Terrace. So I achieved that because...
No.
Read me.
Photographer, Taylor Hanson, Vetter, Rufio, Fredo, Yellow,
Okay.
Data, Jaden, Thomas Barani, Ninja / Evaluator, Secret Agent Man, or as I like to call him, Sam, Medic / Controller, Parrot Blocker, Shades, Red, SWAT 1 and SWAT 2, Frickin' Frack, and our star, Rabbit. We're gonna break this down together, and we're gonna analyze this with 6 different angles, and in chronological order. Let's do this. Now this is...
I think this is the one I saw. Boomer just showed one to me. Let's see if it's the same one.
Read me.
Yeah. Okay, so this is it. And I just want to get to the shooting part here really quick, because it just shows how ridiculous it is. Now, remember, we have an historian telling us how real this was, and nowhere, if he was an actual historian, he'd be like the guy that Rogan used to have on that has the hardcore history, who, even if he doesn't like it, he's going to tell you the truth. This guy didn't bring up one actor, one agent, anything. I mean, come on.
Puts his hands up. See how he just grabs them and he puts his hands up? They were friends earlier, remember? And look at Barani. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna pull out my phone. And notice how he looks at his hand. He's gonna do that a couple times. And there's a reason for that. So now SWAT 1's making his hand movements, you know, the big pointing. And now he's gonna put up his weapon. And he does this little dance with his knees. Okay, thank you. Thumbs up. Like he's pretending to talk to someone. And he's like, thumbs up. And now Data moves in. He clumsily takes his book bag off. Now here it gets really strange. With the exception of her nose, at this time code we see there's no blood on her. 3517. We're gonna see her pop in right there. Nothing. 3521. But wait, boom. 3525. 4 frames. That's 4 seconds. And now it looks like she's devoured some small woodland creature. Don't you love how blood defies gravity? But how is that possible? Let's back it up 4 seconds. Now watch. Notice how Sam moves his left hand from her right backpack area, and he goes to grab her hand, like she's doing a peace sign, with her hand, dips it in. Look at that movement. Now you can see him move his hand across her face. But look, she moves her wrist into his hand first. It kind of looks like she's smearing blood on her face, or putting something in her mouth, but you can...
And like, this is like the initial breakdown I did of it, because the shooting did look very staged to me. And I was pretty clear right off the bat. I knew before January 6th, I was telling people this is going to be a bad one. Like, this is going to, you know, they need a new Charlottesville. And then when they did this shooting and then gave the narrative that 4 cops died during this event, or, you know, all this stuff, nobody died on January 6th. Just so everybody's clear. Some cops after, one supposedly shot himself, another one had an injury, but nobody died on January 6th, including Ashley Babbitt. And they didn't do a good job of faking it.
See the movement, and he swats her hand down. Then he forcefully turns her head to the right. It's hard to see if those are her fingers or if she's holding on to something. Now Sam gets up, and all he's doing is just pointing. Look, well, I guess my work here is done. They're both pointing at the same time because it makes for good pictures. You've got the drama, you've got the pointing, and now this blood is just gushing out her mouth. Don't make no sense. Do you hear that? Y'all murdered this person? It's only been 21 seconds since the weapon went off. Just grabbing him, like, what are we gonna do? And notice, he has a full beard. Do people in these positions normally have full beards? Maybe? Okay. He's also double masked. Ooh, such a secret. And they just keep pointing. Look. SWAT 1, SWAT 2. We can see that Yellow has changed his appearance as well. And so, Data does these big gestures. She's still got her damn hands, like she's playing a scarecrow or something. Now this guy coming in, he's a parrot blocker. And he's saying, move, move. Data just looks up, he's like, medic, scalpel. All the while Ninja's still back there, just monitoring everything. Data is just still fumbling through his bag, not looking for anything in particular. Everybody's just kind of moving around her.
Got an active shooter!
We have an active shooter. How original.
Get her down!
Get her down? She is down, bro. God, it's so cringy.
Get the light! Flashlight!
So they're screaming for a flashlight. Out of all things, a flashlight. Because the flashlight will enhance the drama of the photos. And it draws the eye down towards the light.
Yeah, where is she hit? Oh, shout out to Tamora May. You may know her as White Light, White Heat in the chat. Sent in a $10 dono on Cash App. Thank you very much. We're going to go through just a little bit more of this video of just this shooting. And if you missed the beginning where I went over the quote-unquote historian debunking all of his nonsense that he tried to push on 3 million subscribers on Lex Friedman. And I challenged him to a debate, and he's not a guy that I checked his tweets. He gets 3 comments, 5 comments, so he's seen me. He's guaranteed seen me challenge him, call him bullshit. So we'll see if he responds, because fuck him, dude. Like, I'm not angry about it, but don't call yourself a historian. Because I'm a fucking doctor, a detective, a lawyer, a private investigator, and now I have to be a historian, because he can't be.
Where's she hit? Yeah, it seems like no one really knows. And that's when she opens her mouth, like she's spitting it out. You can see she has blood on her fingers. But when do we see her ever touch that area? And Data taps her left hand and she puts it down. He like flicks something away, fixes something out of her hair. It's unclear if Data is contributing to the blood effects or if he's just a scene blocker. You can see SWAT 1 knees her right arm closer to her, and then she tucks it under her right butt cheek. So this is the medic. He identifies himself as the medic. Notice that wonderful earpiece he has on. And let's see the various ways he tries to save her. Medic puts his water bottle down. SWAT 1 just grazes her. Everybody's just grazing her. Parrot blocker getting up in there. And so medic pulls down the flag that's tied around her neck. And notice he only had one glove coming into the room, which is very interesting. Look, when he does this move, she opens her mouth briefly, or she says something. So he's only using one hand, and she just lets some of the blood out of her mouth. Thank God for capsules. And her eyes she's looking at things, where before she was just looking straight ahead. At the same time, you can see them just hanging out. And here comes the scene blocker cop. Now Ninja's either just making hand movements for the camera, or he's giving directions to SWAT 1. And SWAT 1 is just fumbling around with this little napkin,
So yeah, I highly recommend this video. And I highly do not recommend anything on Lex Friedman, especially fake historians. That was 45 minutes. I am dead tired. Yes, lie's been good, Birdman. That was the first. I mean, sometimes it's coded language name. That was the name of the first cop a couple of days after that supposedly committed suicide. Lie's been good. Oh. Boomer. Great work on the posted streams. Oh man, I'm glad I'm so glad you were able to catch up on some of them. I appreciate that. I'm actually gonna show right now a couple things before we get out of here. I'll just go to my homepage on Odysee just to show you. Now, this is kind of cleaning out my Mac. I'm cleaning out external hard drives for the new equipment, and I wanted to get some videos, and I found some oldies that I liked. The Charles Manson one, the unauthorized, the anti-Semitism predicting anti-free speech laws, stuff like that. And then I also have the Clips channel on YouTube, which is going to be clips from here.